that ask them to design and build an installation that would last through the summer. Every Saturdays they have these big warm-up parties with bands playing and everything. So there are gigantic parties. Basically, every Saturdays you have between 4,000 and 5,000 people coming in this courtyard. And through the summer, more than 100,000 people come and see this installation. The theme since the beginning has been the urban beach. And last summer was the 40th anniversary of 1968. So we were thinking that how could we, urban beach, everybody has done that for 40 years now. So we felt it was time for a new leisure revolution that would create a new symbol of liberation, knowledge, power, and fun for today's cities. So we came up with the idea of an urban farm instead of the beach. So we left behind the beach, went to create an urban farm, which is more in tune with the preoccupation that we now have with the city, and also using city as a kind of manifesto for your ideas, and using a creative aspect and productive aspect of the city into our project. So this is the strategy of this farm, of these big fields in the Midwest that are based on the Jeffersonian grid, and they have these big circle crops that we just put into our site. The shape of the project is this folded plane that create all these different areas within this existing courtyard. The PS1 used to be an old school that was restored as converted into a museum, and what used to be the courtyard was built as 5-meter tall concrete wall. So it's a very introverted piece. So the idea was that also this installation could be seen from the outside. The peak of and the edge of the installation can be seen from the outside, from the subway, when you arrive. So our desire to embrace the grid as a organizing pattern, and also use recyclable and biodegradable material, led us to use cardboard tube as a primary structure that could also be used as planters. We used a type of soil also that was very light, so we minimized the amount of structure that we needed in reinforcement. The whole structure is organized into a pattern of daisies, like you see here. So it's basically 6 tubes with a middle tube that's either empty or either a structure. And we have 51 different kind of plants that we planted and let it overgrow over the summer. And you can see here, the idea was that you would have a picking tube in the center, so the people taking care of the maintenance of this urban farm would, through a ladder, come in the middle of this module and can pick all the crops around them. So we designed and prototyped this picking skirt so that you can just gather everything around you and put it in your skirt and bring it down and sell it in the little market that we set up. So here's our prototype. The picking skirt, where you go through the tubes, you attach the skirt all around you. Doesn't work as well at the office as it actually did work on the site, but that was the little test. Aside from the farming aspect, we also created a range of programs that can be used for both the parties but also through the week. We have a farmer market. We have an area, a kids grotto, where it's the lowest, also with a periscope, so you can see the farm through the periscope when you're underneath. We created all this seating and the grove with a herb tree, and also the underneath, which is essentially a place where you can go recharge your cell phone when you're in these big parties and need to plan your evening. We also went into a farm, the Queens County farm, a little bit outside of New York, and had all these little film playing of animal farms that you could see through the columns and through these peepholes. We also recorded animal sound farm to be played continuously there. The power, it's a completely off-grid system. So, the phone charger, we also had a juicer for, making tomato juice that can be used for Bloody Marys. We had these big fans, but also a system of irrigation, a drip irrigation that was going through a cistern, and the pump was powered through the solar system. What we did is use the existing roof of the building and channel the water into a cistern. I think we collected about 6,000 gallons of water through the summer, and then it was redistributed into each planter through this drip irrigation system, and also a pool with a recirculating system closed in a loop. So we won the competition, that was great, and then it's a design-build project, so we had to find a way to actually build it ourselves. So we set up our headquarters in a warehouse, where we started ordering all these tubes, cutting the tubes. We created these jigs that would allow us to cut the tubes at an angle. These, by the way, are tubes that are used typically for casting concrete columns on construction sites that are typically discarded after that. We had to lacquer them with a biodegradable lacquer so that the cardboard tube would be resistant through the summer to the water and the plants and the watering of the plants. And this is one of our modules that we pre-assembled, this AC module that we're talking about. So we pre-assembled all of them on the site, in the warehouse, brought them on the site on a truck, which was just, a mile away from it. And at the meantime, because the opening was mid-June, we pre-planted all our crops in a greenhouse. And for that, we participated with the local jail that have a reinsertion program for the community. So people in jail actually have their own gardening center where they can plant all the crops, and a lot of them have been released by the time of the opening and were able to maintain the farm all through the summer. So we partnered basically with the local community for the reintegration